For the 18th consecutive year, the small fishing village of Ishigaki, Japan hosted the world's top triathletes for round 2 of the ITU World Cup Series. The conditions improved for the men's race as the rain subsided by the time they dove into Tonoshiro Harbour, which was 22.4 degrees. Only a few seconds separated the top men during the 1500-metre swim, but at the head of the field, Dan Wilson of Australia was pushing the pace, along with teammate Ryan Fisher, who was just on his heels. The slippery conditions added to the challenge on the bike course, which eventually broke the field into 3 distinct groups. Australians Fisher and Wilson, along with Ireland's Brian Keane, broke away from the rest of the field on lap 3. With just 2 laps to go, Keane went down in the wet conditions, forcing him to ride the last 2 laps on his own, desperately trying to make up the lost time. Wilson and Fisher then came off the bikes with a comfortable margin over Keane, who was a minute behind by the time he got into his running shoes. The large chase pack with France's Gregory Rouault and Japan's Yuichi Hasada were a further minute and a half behind Keane and desperate to get their bikes racked and out onto the run. Fisher continued to pull away from Wilson throughout the 10 kilometres and by the end of the first lap was 30 seconds clear of his fellow countryman. Wilson, meanwhile, was being chased down by Keane, who was slowly reeling him in, eventually overtaking the Aussie for second place on the final lap. Wilson tried to keep pace with Keane on the remaining 1.5 kilometres, but the Irishman proved to be too quick. Ryan Fisher had time to celebrate his first World Cup victory in style with an emphatic win, leading the race almost in its entirety. Keane claimed his first World Cup medal despite crashing on the bike, with one of the grittiest performances so far this season. And Dan Wilson made a welcome return to the podium with the bronze.
Definitely, winning any race sort of doesn't matter what level is, it's good, but yeah, to come here at a World Cup and like you said, it's my first one ever that I've won, so yeah, it's a huge confidence booster and first real race of the season, so it's a good way to kickstart it.
Second podium you always got to be pleased with. It's my first World Cup podium, so fourth to Malulabar, kind of bit of messed that one up and felt I missed the podium there, so it's pretty sweet after a crash last week in Auckland to come back and get a second opportunity, crash again but still finish second.
Try and stick with him for a sprint finish, but he was running really strongly and he was just a bit too strong over that last kilometre, so the elastic band broke, and but I'm really happy with the third place.